Stop scrolling right now because what you are about to hear is not just another love story. It is something deeper, something that will stay with you long after this video ends. So don't go anywhere, stay till the very last moment, because the truth behind this hidden story might change the way you see love forever. And if you have ever loved someone in silence, then this story is for you. In a world full of cameras, lights, and endless attention, there are stories that never get told. Stories hidden behind smiles, behind success, behind the perfect image people see on their screens every day. And in that world stood two people, Dylan Wang and Bai Lu. To millions of fans, they were stars, admired, followed, and celebrated. But beyond the fame, beyond the attention, there was something no one ever noticed, something quiet, something real. It started on a set, like most stories do. Long hours, repeated scenes, shared laughter, and moments that felt ordinary at first, but slowly began to mean something more. Dylan was known for his calm confidence, the kind that made everything look easy. Bai Lu, on the other hand, carried a warmth that made people feel comfortable without even trying. At first, it was just work. Simple greetings, small conversations, nothing unusual. But then came the moments in between. The moments no one sees. A glance that lasted a second longer than it should. A silence that felt full instead of empty. A smile that meant more than words. One evening, after filming ended, the set was quiet. Most of the crew had left, and the lights were slowly turning off one by one. Bai Lu stayed behind, sitting alone, looking at the empty space where everything had felt so alive just hours ago. Dylan noticed. He walked toward her, not saying anything at first, just standing beside her. Then he said softly, "It feels strange when everything suddenly becomes quiet." She looked at him and smiled slightly. Maybe the silence shows what we are trying to ignore. That was the moment everything changed. From that day, something invisible connected them. They started talking more. Not just about work, but about life, fears, dreams, and the things people usually keep hidden. Dylan spoke about the pressure of always being watched, always being expected to be perfect. Bai Lu spoke about loneliness, about how being surrounded by people does not always mean you are not alone. And in those conversations, they found something rare. Understanding. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into something neither of them could explain. They never said anything directly. They never made it obvious. But their connection grew stronger in silence. Late-night messages became normal. Simple questions turned into long conversations. Did you eat became, "Are you okay?" And good night became something neither of them wanted to say. But reality has a way of interrupting even the most beautiful moments. Rumors started. Fans began to notice small details. The way they looked at each other. The way they avoided certain questions. The way their names kept appearing together. And with that attention came pressure. Management stepped in. Advice turned into warnings. Distance became necessary. And slowly, everything began to change. Messages became shorter. Calls became less frequent. The silence that once felt comforting now felt heavy. One night, Bai Lu sat staring at her phone, reading their old messages. Her fingers hovered over the screen as she typed something. "Do you ever think about what this could have been?" She stared at the message for a long time. Then she deleted it. At the same time, Dylan was sitting alone, looking at the city lights through a window. His phone lit up with her name. But there was no message. Just her name. And that was enough to make his heart feel heavier. Days later, they met again on set. Everything felt different. The same place, the same people, but not the same feeling. They stood close, but felt far away. At one point, their eyes met. And in that moment, everything they never said was understood. But neither of them spoke. Because sometimes, silence feels safer than the truth. Time passed, and eventually the project ended. The last day came quietly. No dramatic goodbye. No confession. Just a simple exchange. "Take care. You too." And just like that, they walked away. In different directions. But the story did not end there. Months later, Bai Lu heard something that made her stop completely. Dylan had taken a break from everything. No appearances. No updates. No explanation. Just silence. Concern filled her thoughts. She wanted to reach out.
She needed to.
But something held her back. Fear, doubt, or maybe the feeling that she no longer had the right. Days turned into weeks. And then one night, her phone lit up. His name. For a moment, she couldn't move. Her heart raced as she opened the message. I didn't know who else to talk to. Her hands trembled as she replied. I am here. What followed was not a normal conversation. It was raw, honest, unfiltered. Dylan spoke about everything he had been holding in, the pressure, the expectations, the feeling of losing himself. I don't feel like me anymore. By Lou read every word carefully, her heart breaking with each sentence. You don't have to go through it alone, she replied. For hours they talked, like nothing had changed, like time had paused just for them. And in that moment, everything they had lost seemed to return. But life is not always kind to second chances. The next morning, his messages stopped. No reply, no explanation, just silence. Again. This time it felt different, heavier, colder. Days passed with no word. Calls unanswered, messages left unread. And then the news came, not detailed, not clear, just enough to break everything. Dylan was gone from the public eye completely. No one knew where he was. No one knew what happened. Speculation filled the internet. But none of it mattered to Bai Lu, because all she could think about was the last message. I didn't know who else to talk to. Those words stayed with her, haunting her. She replayed their last conversation again and again, wondering if there was something she missed, something she could have said, something that could have changed everything. Weeks later, a letter arrived. No name, no return, but she knew. She opened it slowly, her heart already breaking before she read a single word. I am sorry for leaving things unfinished. Her vision blurred as tears filled her eyes. You were the one place I felt understood, even when I couldn't understand myself. She held the paper tightly, as if letting go would mean losing him completely. I didn't want to pull you into my darkness, so I stepped away, even though it hurt more than staying. Her breathing became uneven. Every word felt heavier than the last. If things were different, I would have chosen you without hesitation. She closed her eyes, letting the tears fall freely. For the first time, everything made sense. The distance, the silence, the goodbye that never happened. That night, she returned to the place where they once talked about silence. The city was alive, but she felt alone. She stood there, looking at the lights, remembering every moment, and then she whispered softly, I would have chosen you too. The wind moved gently around her, as if carrying her words somewhere far away. Time moved on, as it always does. But some stories don't end. They stay in memories and feelings. In the quiet moments where everything comes back. And maybe that is what love really is. Not always about being together, but about the impact someone leaves behind. So before you leave this video, think about someone you care about. Someone you have not spoken to in a while.
Someone you assume is okay.
Reach out. Say something. Because sometimes the words we hold back become the ones we regret the most. If this story touched you, don't just move on. Like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more stories that make you feel something real. Because some stories are not just watched, they're felt.